What's up, BullsNation? I'm back home. So blessed to be a Bull. So blessed to be back in Chicago. Hope to see you guys soon. First and foremost, I want to thank God, for giving me this opportunity, especially coming back home. No better way to live my dream as a kid by playing down the street from where I grew up, the James Jordan Boys and Girls Club. So very fortunate for that blessing, and thank you for the Bulls organization for taking a chance on me, and I'm going to do my best to fulfill their wishes.
Jabari, right here. Darnell Mayberry, The Athletic. What does it mean to you to come home?
It means a lot. It means the most, especially wearing that red, that white, that black is something like a dream, because playing here, you always dreamed about being a Bull. So that's a dream come true.
Hey, Jabari, John Greenberg, also The Athletic. Those of us who covered you here, we saw you had nothing but success, 4 state titles. This is a little bit of a different situation. How would you describe the pressure of playing in Chicago, where you're playing in front of fans who really expect a lot? Fans expect a lot from Chicago players, and especially people from here.
Right. I don't look at it as a lot of pressure. Just looking forward to building new memories, especially with the young core that we have. And I was in a similar situation not long ago when we had a guy, Greg Monroe, coming into our organization, and we had high hopes and aspirations, but we kind of fell short. We didn't meet the means that was projected, and that's kind of the ability that I want to just have, to have short, limited goals, and just to take it game by game with the young core that we have.
Joe Colley, Chicago Sun-Times. Fred, you just talked about this last week defensively, the facelift you guys are looking to make. With Zach and Jabari defensively, their numbers aren't the greatest. How are you guys going to compensate defensively? And offensively, how do you see him fitting in what you guys do with the space and pace?
Well, Joe, defensively, I'll talk about that first. We were able to experiment with, pretty much a whole new system these last couple of weeks in our mini camp, and when we went out to Vegas, and there were some things that we really liked with what we did, as far as look at the trends of the league and the switching defenses and the different way that teams are playing. I think Jabari and Zach will both fit in very well with that type of system. They're both very athletic. They both have great feet. And, we should be able, in my opinion, to take a step forward with our defense this year. And, Jabari's a guy that can play multiple positions. I think he can guard multiple players on the floor. As far as offensively, he fits in exactly how we want to play. He's as athletic a player. We should have as, you're looking at Jabari and Zach on the wings, we should have as athletic, 2-3, he can slide down and play 4. Is any team in the league. So, if we can be committed to getting the ball up and down the floor, we have a chance, in my opinion, to play a very exciting style of basketball and be a very high-powered offensive team. So, we're really looking forward to it. We've been watching a lot of film these last couple of days with how, we can utilize Jabari's skill set and how we can fit in to the team structure, and we're very excited about the different options that we will have.
Jabari, right here. Cameron Smith, Comcast N100 Sports. I know you've dreamed about those moments as a kid, maybe donning that Bulls jersey, but when it became more of a reality as it is today, have you thought about, that first run out in the tunnel when they announced your name at the United Center, that you're officially a Bull?
Not yet. I still have yet found my equipment, so I need to put on the gear first before I decide to wear my, the real authentic stuff. So, yeah. But obviously it's stuff that I dream about. But when the time presents itself, then I work my ways.
Hi, Jabari. Casey Johnson from the Chicago Tribune. Beyond the way the contract is structured, what attracted you to this situation?
I mean, it wasn't about me at the end of the day. It was just the stars aligned, and this opportunity presented itself, and it just fit perfectly. So the contract, was, took care of itself, but it was more like the stars aligned. Yeah. The team is no better way to start off with a team that you can grow with, especially being so young, guys that's my age. We can see each other build memories, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Jabari, David Hoff from the Chicago Tribune over here.
How are you different than the last time a bunch of people gathered in a room to hear you talk about your basketball future back at Simeon when you announced you were going to Duke? And how long ago does that seem to you?
It seemed pretty long ago. It did, because I had a couple hurdles in my career that filled up a lot of my time. But right now it's just trying to distance those memories and to create, new enlightening ones.
With the Chicago Tribune. I'm curious how you feel Milwaukee managed your career well and the injuries you dealt with well, and where they left room for improvement, and then where you stand physically right now.
As far as Milwaukee goes, I give them all the praise for, having the patience with me and also developing me and helping me through my injuries, especially the medical staff. They did a tremendous job helping me bounce back and putting together a plan, and I owe it to them, my trainer, Suki and Mike Davey and Troy Flanagan. They really helped big time in my career, so I credit them. Oh, right now it's just day by day. I'm no exception to the norm. I got to treat myself as any individual would and just stay on top of things. It's just out of my control where my career took itself, but I can do the best that I can to maintain it.
Steve Eschberner, NBA.com, Jabari. We hear across all sports that when a player is injured, they're present, but they're not really a part of things. And I'm curious how your 2 layoffs and rehabs, you got back physically, but did that sort of interrupt the plan in Milwaukee such that you're here today? I mean, obviously, they had different dreams and hopes for how this would go.
I can't speak for the front office, but I can speak for my teammates. They really did a great job integrating me within the culture and also keeping me involved, conversation, and activities. So, my teammates, they did a really good job, and it made it easy to jump into the mix once I played.
Jabari, you were obviously having your best season when you had the second knee injury. Did you ever have a woe is me moment? And if you did, what helped you get past that beyond the Bucks' strength and training staffs?
The first time I did hurt myself, I did ask why. But then after that, it's just more like a bounce back, because just want to have a mentality that just got to move forward. And I just want to be a trailblazer for a lot of people who are going through struggles, because obviously to not have difficulty in your life is unrealistic. So hopefully, I have a magnifying glass to help other people who are going through the same thing, if not similar situations.
Jabari, Vince Goodwill, NBC Sports Chicago right here. Do you look at this as a chance to hit the reset button on your career because you're still so very young and you're starting back where you started from? Do you look at it as washing away Milwaukee and everything that happened and just starting from scratch here?
No, I don't. I don't want to forget all the hard work that I had, because to forget that I hurt myself and came back is to discredit a lot of my success, because that's in and of itself something outside of the norm. Nobody does that. So I want to always remember the setbacks and the failures that I've had in my career so far, and just use that as a sense of motivation.
Andy Seligman, AP. Jabari, have you had a chance to reach out to Derrick Rose yet and just talk, ask him about the pros and cons of playing in your hometown team?
No, I haven't yet, but I will in the future.
As this Cody Westerlund with 670 the score for Jabari, as this process played out, negotiations, when did you know you wanted to be a Chicago Bull, and what was that moment like?
Well, I felt like I wanted to be a Chicago Bull as soon as they showed interest, because it's always been a dream to me, especially come back home and being close already. It was just like chipping away, and I just couldn't wait to participate and be a Bull.
Jabari, Deion Miller from ABC7. How does 2 ACL surgeries and coming back from that change you as a person and as a player?
I feel like when you struggle more, you only succeed more. It gives me a lot more reason to do better and to go against the odds and go against the grain. So whenever I do something that sets me back, I always look at it as an opportunity to get better.
Jabari, this is Omar from Bulls in Spanish. I mean, you're a fairly young guy. How does it feel to come to a team that's got a bunch of young warriors such as Wendell Carter Jr., Zach LaVine, Laurie Markkinen? How does that make you feel being part of this team now?
Being a part of this team and this new unit is something I admire. Just because we're the same age, we're gonna build friendships on and off the court, and that's what it's about. Once we grow closer, we get better as a team.
Jabari, I know you had your own, it's John Greenberg from The Athletic again. I know you had your own career and stuff to worry about, but as a Bulls fan, what did you think of kind of the rise and fall, like what happened with Derek and seeing how high he went and then kind of how low things got? How did you look at it from afar?
I mean, Derek had no lows. He didn't, because he still maintained. And, Derek is a legend, no matter what. Like, I don't like how you explain that.
I meant like just how the injuries and stuff. I didn't.
No rise and falls. Injuries is a part of life. Everybody has an injury. It's either athletics or normal life. But Derek is, he's one of the best players to ever play the game and one of the best icons in Chicago. So he accomplished his duty already.
Sam Smith with the Bulls.com over here. Apparently you had an injury. A lot of talk about that. No young player in the NBA has ever had 2 of those surgeries at such a young age. Does that concern you going forward? And do you feel you can return to the level you were coming out of college or after your first ACL injury?
I mean, if you didn't see the games this year, then I won't be able to answer that question for you. But I pretty much showed that.
Cameron Smith, Comcast CN100 Sports. Jabari, have you played or thought about the significance of you being a Chicago Bull, both on and off the court, especially with the community involvement and how you are involved in community and social injustice issues? Have you played those scenarios in your mind, and maybe you have, thought about what your impact will be off the court as well in the city?
Yeah, I'm just as excited to participate in the community just as much as playing the game. Obviously, this is my passion, but other things matter to me too, and that's helping, especially where I come from. So I hope that I can partner with the public schools like I did in Milwaukee to Chicago and be involved with the youth. So I'm gonna try to do as much as I can with my free time.
Mark Shanowski, NBC Sports Chicago. This question's for John. John, you've said repeatedly since the Butler trade last summer that the Bulls would be patient and disciplined in trying to execute this rebuild. The question is, why this player at this time, and does the structure of the contract make you feel better about making this move?
Well, we looked at it as a great opportunity to get a talented basketball player in, and the one thing we've said ever since we made the trade for Jimmy was if we did anything, it would have to fit the timeline in terms of young players. Jabari's 23 years old. And, for us, we're not looking at, the contract is what it is, and I think it's good for Jabari, it's good for us. We're looking at this as a great opportunity for our basketball team to improve, for Jabari to be a part of this. We talked a lot about versatility of players. Jabari's the type of guy, and I got a text from Billy McKinney, who was in Milwaukee, part of drafting Jabari there 4 years ago. And Billy said to me, he goes, he's the type of guy that he can go out and get 20 points without having to run a play for him. Those are important pieces to building a team. We like that about him. So there's great opportunity in this, and I think more than anything, that's what we looked at.
Jabari, Mike McGraw, Daily Herald. You mentioned earlier that you grew up at the James Jordan Center, so to speak. Could you expand on that? How much time did you spend there? What were your days like when you were a kid and looking for places to play basketball and that kind of stuff?
Well, ever since I was born to the age of 8, I grew up a lot there. My dad worked as a supervisor for athletics, so I was there a lot of times during after school hours, and just to play on the court with the Bulls logo was something of an imagination. We didn't have the real deal, but it was like our home court. It was like our United Center in that gym. So my brother had more memories than me. He's over there. His name's Chris. But, that was some of my earliest basketball memories.
Jabari, Cheryl reached out with WBEZ Radio. What was the process like during these last few weeks? Were there other teams that contacted you, or once the Bulls made the pitch to you, you wanted to come here?
Yeah, it was a few other teams that made a pitch, but as soon as I heard Chicago, I had to jump on it because I knew their eagerness and I knew my eagerness, and it just matched.
Steve Ashburn again from NBA.com. Jabari, you're coming to a team that has a number of young players already sort of on their developmental tracks. What can you do to further their progress, and will that require some sacrifice of your own individual agenda?
Oh yeah, it takes a relationship, and relationship is 50-50, so I'm gonna learn as much as they learn from me as I learn from them. So definitely, since we're so young, we're gonna, have to rely on our coaching staff to help, with the struggles that we have, but no better way. It's just like starting back over again, and I'm willing to learn, and I can't wait.